Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles. The New England Patriots go into Arizona, defeat the Cardinals 27-13. It was 13-13 at one point, but DeAndre Hopkins fumbled the ball. And the ball very slowly, at least in Cardinals fans' feelings, rolled towards the sideline. And a Patriots player picked it up and returned it for a touchdown. Patriots defense took over the game, and Colt McCoy threw an interception. You know, that was basically it. From that fumble point, the Patriots defense just started sacking McCoy and picking him off, and it was over. But this was not a fun game. I mean, the tone was set. Kyler Murray, a minute 20 into the game, goes down with what looks to be a season-ending knee injury. He's scrambling right. It's a non-contact injury while cutting. He just crumples in pain. He's carted off the field. It's no fun. I mean, Kyler hasn't been good this year, but you still, there's still magic there. You still want him there for the entertainment, of watching him. Yeah, this was ugly Monday Night Football, man. There's a bunch of other injuries, too. The Patriots, Stevenson, Parker, it's just... I hate seeing some of these late season games, especially with teams that aren't that good, because this game is brutal. People do not get a full grasp of what these guys put their fingers through. Meet an NFL player and look at their hands. Man, they give up their bodies for us to watch TV. So, it's something you try to keep perspective on. And the whole game was just kind of blah. We're watching a Matt Patricia offense versus a Cliff Kingsbury offense. They're both kind of simultaneously arrogant, blowhards of hot air. They just, I just can't even listen to either of them talk. And their justifications for why their offenses, they're not scoring points, they're not doing that well, but they know better than you. They know better than every reporter, every other team. And no, we're not going to do the things that the Chiefs, Bills, Packers, 49ers, Rams do. We're not going to do a bunch of motion and play action. We're better than that. Better than the Chiefs, Bills, it's Kingsbury, Patricia. They're very different from each other, but they both have that in common. Cardinals fans have been on this for Kingsbury since his first year. As a Seahawk fan, I see it all the time. They hate this guy. Cardinals fans hate Kingsbury's offense. And Patriots fans are just dead inside. I don't think that... I kind of feel bad for Patriots fans. I think I brought this up on another podcast. I feel bad because they just never get it back. They're never going to have what they had. Nothing will ever be like that again. You know for a fact that the best time in your sports life is behind you. 6 Super Bowls, 10 Super Bowl appearances, or 9 Super Bowl appearances for the Patriots. Sorry, Patriots fans. And Matt Patricia, I mean, he's a 10-cent tyrant. We've talked about him as much as we should. The Cardinals are done. Patriots actually, with this win, bump the Chargers out of the current AFC 7 seed. So it's Chargers, Patriots, and Jets at 7 and 6. And I guess the Patriots have the tiebreaker there. And Miami's not out of the woods either. They're only a game up above that group at 8 and 5. So the 6th seed is vulnerable. I don't know that what we saw from the Patriots tonight is really playoff worthy. They'll have to change something in the next 4 games. Mac Jones is certainly frustrated. Did not look like a quarterback who is getting into a position, for the 7 seed in the playoffs, right? Troy Aikman said it on the broadcast. Last year, Mac Jones was throwing with anticipation, and now that is gone. And to Troy Aikman, I say, knowing that Matt Patricia is the offensive coordinator, maybe there's nothing to anticipate. The Mukilteo Football Show. This show is football everything. NFL history, legacy, ups and downs of a season. Follow us at MUK_football on Twitter or YouTube. Subscribe, share, review on Apple, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts. We have shows Monday after Monday Night Football, Thursday after Thursday Night Football, and Sunday after Sunday Night Football. And now that Week 14 is in the books, let's talk some winners and losers. We have all the teams free of their bye weeks. We could finally just look at the standings as is. Every team has played 13 games with one bye. We can breathe. We have 4 games to go for everybody. My brother will be on a show this week. We'll talk about that particular position and what we think is going to happen going forward. Right to this show, we're going to talk about winners and losers. Be sure to check out yesterday's show, the Sunday show, where we do the Sunday best for Week 14. Give out some awards. Check that out. What did I do? A New Hope Award. See who won that. Most pathetic 641st passing touchdown of all time award. See who could have possibly won that award. All right, let's get to the Week 14 winners. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, making a run at MVP here. This is quite interesting. I did not think that this was going to happen. Of course, I was a Jalen Hurts hater last year. Though I did at the end of the year make a specific note that maybe Hurts is actually good, which surprised me in August. Because I got here to August and I was like, Hurts sucks. Because, it's just, that's my default. And I read the note from myself that Hurts might be good. It's kind of a lesson for me that I've tried to take is write down what you think in January. You have no idea how much it fades away over the offseason, where we all sort of collectively, slowly blob into a hive mind. Anyway, so Jalen Hurts is going to on inside track for MVP after I said he wasn't any good last year. This is the right time to be passing up Mahomes. Mahomes had the 3 interceptions, so that's the big deal. While Hurts is just dominating teams. The Titans in Week 13, the Giants this week. He's running in touchdowns. He gets that 10 rushing touchdowns plateau. The MVP voters love a good plateau. And December is going to be really important. I think we truly got a 2-horse race here between Mahomes and Hurts. Joe Burrow's maybe a dark horse. So I kind of find that exciting because Rodgers and Brady last year, they were battling for it. Really, December was kind of how the award was given. December always kind of matters more in MVP voting, which makes no sense, but it just does. Recency bias. And this year, we're gonna kind of have a battle for MVP. It's way better than the 2018 Mahomes had it wrapped up. 2019 Lamar Jackson had it absolutely wrapped up. That's not as fun. Let's have these guys, Jalen Hurts, Pat Mahomes, different styles, different stats that we're comparing because Hurts has such a rushing floor. Though he's been playing good from the pocket, but anyway, that'll be fun. Next winner. The Baltimore Ravens, getting those last 2 wins without Lamar Jackson. Just a huge deal. The Ravens are now 9-4. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Steelers after Lamar Jackson got hurt early in the Broncos game. They won with a 16-play Tyler Huntley drive against the Broncos, the defense that hadn't given up anything. And then they won this week against the Steelers with just tons of turnovers, picking off Mitch Trubisky every time to kill the drive. Now, those things are not a guarantee. There's a realistic multiverse where the Ravens lose Lamar Jackson, lose to the Broncos, lose to the Steelers, and they're 7-6. and they're needing to rush Lamar Jackson back here for their Saturday game here in week 15. Now they win both those games. They've built up some cred for the AFC playoffs. They can be a little more careful with Lamar Jackson, hopefully. And I think they've found something with their defense. Roquan Smith has changed things. I don't know. He's freed up Patrick Queen, who's suddenly super good. The Ravens' run game seems to be back. At least it sealed the game against the Steelers. I mean, the Ravens, they're still in this. I know people are kind of counting them out, especially after they gave up that final drive to the Jaguars. But if you really look at what has happened, as long as Lamar Jackson gets healthy, then we're talking about a team who has eked out wins, and their 4 losses are their supposed, bad thing. That their supposed fatal flaws that they give up big leads to the Bills. They give up big lead to the Dolphins, of course, in week 2. Giants, they give a finale drive to the Jaguars. Well, we're talking about their 4 losses, and in those games, they had giant leads. Like, that's, when you start to look at it that way, that's pretty good. That's their worst games. The worst games were the ones where they were crushing a team by 20 points and then gave it up. I don't know. I think the Ravens are still something, and they needed this math. These wins against the Broncos and Steelers were so important, especially since Tyler Huntley is now also hurt. Anthony Brown coming in. I don't think the Ravens have a chance on Saturday unless Lamar Jackson is for some reason more healthy than they've been letting on. So, next winner. Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He did it. He came back and had an amazing game. And again, I fell into the illusion of narrative that I've been talking about. These weeks of football are not episodes of television. So I had talked about Trevor Lawrence. He has this amazing game in week 12, or amazing finish in week 12, where he does that big drive against the Ravens, has those huge throws, big-time throws for a big-time prospect, And that was an appetizer. And he's coming into week 13 against the Lions, and we're like, maybe he's arrived. Maybe Trevor Lawrence has arrived. He has a dud against the Lions, an absolute burnt steak from that appetizer. And we're like, I guess not. But now, 1 week later, week 14, Trevor Lawrence is dominating the Titans with what is definitely the best game of his career. Like, I don't always know what I'm looking at, but, I can't tell, like, the great throws from the good throws, It's kind of like the NBA, You can't just look at the points section because there's a difference between shot making and shot creating. It's hard for, like, a regular broadcast viewer to get a global view on that. But I do know a lot of smart people that I trust are talking about Trevor Lawrence, who's making things happen. He's the reason for this. Big throws, big decisions. He's starting to grow into his own. And it's just 1 week later than we thought. Because that the game against Lions was just, I don't know. It just didn't go his way. He got hurt in it. It didn't matter. It's not linear. It's not a movie. Or if it is, it's a movie that's written out of order, which they do sometimes. That could be a storytelling device. But Trevor Lawrence is just sprinkling those good games to give us hope for next year. All right, let's get to the losers. The Tennessee Titans, who were blown out by said Jaguars, led by Trevor Lawrence. That wasn't good. That was not good, especially on the heels of being blown out in week 13 as well. The Titans, they're on a negative news cycle here, right? Because they also fired their GM. So they got blown up by the Eagles. Now they get blown up by the Jaguars. In between, they fired their GM. I don't know exactly how that, was the GM doing something for them specifically between weeks 13 and 14 that was somehow missing? No, but I think what it indicates is they were firing people because in-house, they know things are going downhill. They know they're falling off a cliff. Maybe it hadn't shown itself on the field quite yet, but the Titans know they just ain't got it. Derrick Henry, I mean, I know he's got 1,500 yards from scrimmage. It's going to be a great year, but he is being hit. He is being worn down. He is being beaten. He's not the same guy. It absolutely astounds me how long it is taking the game announcers to realize this. So those 2-yard gains will become 5-yard gains in the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry gets stronger. No, he doesn't. Not this year. Derrick Henry was something else in 2019 and 2020. And maybe it's just that coming back from that injury, 2022 is not that Henry. He's a good running back right now. He's not a game-changing running back. It's very hard to be a game-changing running back, but Henry was for those few years. Are we even sure the Titans are going to win the AFC South anymore? It seemed like done. Forget about it. They're 7-6. Jaguars are 5-8, and they face each other in Week 18. Ooh, that could be fun. All right, next loser. The San Francisco 49ers. Deebo Samuel is injured. They're saying that he may come back in the regular season. I hope he's the same guy. I hope they don't rush him. They're saying it's an MCL and ankle sprain, so knee and ankle. And you watch the play, you very much see how his knee is bending the wrong way as well as his ankle is bending the wrong way. I did not like this injury. The defensive guy's like coasting on the back of his legs and his whole body comes down on him. It's just like, God. And it's Deebo right up the middle. Running right up the middle. That's the main thing that Deebo talked about all offseason. You're going to pay me because I'm not going to run up the middle and do that dirty work on a franchise tag. Thankfully, they did pay him. But, man, it just sucks to see because Deebo Samuel is one of the best players in the league, one of the most fun players. Of course, Jerry Rice is saying, stop running 49ers skill position players up the middle, like Trey Lance and Jimmy G and Deebo. And Jimmy G was a sack. I don't know what Jerry Rice is talking about there, but running Deebo up the middle is what makes Deebo special. That the defense has to think about that when he's in the backfield. Like, realistically think about that. And then he goes wide and it's, oh, by the way, it's an elite receiver out there. It's pretty crazy what Deebo brings to the 49ers. Without him, I do worry. I know they won the game and where they blew out the Buccaneers, but I'm worried. We were already going without, baseline quarterback play. To also not have Deebo McCaffrey, we'll see. I'll be at the game rooting for the Seahawks, rooting against the 49ers on Thursday, but we'll see. All right, next loser. Last loser for the day. The New York Jets, the baby Jets. They are reaching a point of attrition here. The Jets had the injury bug just hit them so hard in October with Breece Hall and their offensive linemen that they lost. Now they're going through like another wave. Quinnen Williams, Mike White's getting the heck beat out of him. With his ribs. I love Tony Romo announcing the game and that's the rib, that's this rib, that's that. He's like, Tony Romo knows his quarterback injuries because he's had every single one of them. He can tell you what it looks like, what it feels like, and the variations thereof. But I'm just saying the Corey Davis, the Jets already had their injury, exodus. They just can't quite go through another one. They're now bumped out of the playoffs if they started today. It's a little worried. And of course, of all teams, the Jets get this horrible luck. Week 15 and 16 is the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Any other time in the last 15 years, that would have been thumbs up to face the Lions and Jaguars. Thank God we're getting a breather on our schedule. But the Jets are facing the Lions and Jaguars, who are both red hot right now. Oh, poor Jets. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs with just the way that the Vikings game, they should have won, but they lost. and then they just didn't have it. They were out of gas against the Bills this week, so we will see. All right, Mukilteo Football Show. We will be back to talk Week 15 and the final 4 weeks of the 2022 NFL season. My name is Miles. Good night.